Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Immature is asking his wife Guru that there are so many views. Tam Vishnum aho kaichit kechit Shivaganeshwaram tatha Suryam Nrsinghadin Buddham Sugatamevacha Arhantam Vasudevascha Pranam Somascha Pavakam Karma Pradhanam Anavaha Ityadi Bauda Jabu. There are many views about the God who is the creator of this world, and as a result, we are getting more and more confused. So, which is the real God? What exactly by the word Maheshwara it is meant? Who is the Maheshwara? So, the teacher, wife, Hemalekha tells that, listen, my dear, Nathate sampravakshami shrunu Ishvara vinirnayam. What is the correct understanding about the Ishvara, the one who is the creator of this world? First, he is everything. See, it is called as the truth is, or the Ishvara is everything and yet beyond everything. Like the water is everything, like what is everything? The ocean, the waves, the clouds, the rivers, the icebergs, the vapor, the steam, the dewdrop, everything is water. And yet the water is beyond all. In the same manner, Maheshwara, Ishvara is स विष्णु स शिवो धाता स सूर्य सोम एव च स एव सर्वथा सर्व सर्वैरपि निरूपितः. Although he is everything from the relative standpoint, and yet from his own standpoint, न शिवा नापि विष्णुर्वा न धाता नान एव च एतत्ते संप्रवक्ष्यामि शृणु अत्यंत समाहितः. So I shall tell you now with all details, be extremely attentive. See, every now and then the teacher has to remind. Be very attentive. Why? In between our mind goes for a sortie here and there, We are getting late and so it is getting hotter and hotter and it is getting gone. So, Shrunu Samahitaha. Now, कर्तारं शिवमाहुस्ते पंचवक्त्रंतिलोचनम सकर्ता घटकर्तेव चेतनस्य शरीरकः लोकेपि चेतनकर्ता सशिरो हि दृश्यते. In the world we see that a pot is made out of the clay by the pot maker, and the creator, the pot maker, has to be sasharira with the body and must be chetana, must be a conscious being. Out of the clay, automatically the pot doesn't come out unless it is digital pot. See? It has to be associated with the conscious doer, what is called as the one is the upadan karan, which is inert, and second is the nimitta karan, which is the conscious being. Therefore, Lokepi, in the world also it is seen ashariro achetano va na karta kvachit ikshitaha. Nobody can ever think about the doer, the creator, to be without body and without being conscious. Therefore, in these two, body and consciousness, there tatra mukhyam hi kartrutvam chetanasaiva sambhavet. And between these two, body and the conscious being, the consciousness or the living being is the doer. Yatha, just it is said, Yataha swapnesh vayam jivo hitma sthula sharirikam chaitanyamaya dehena sarvan abhimatan shrujed. Like in the dream, this conscious jiva, the conscious soul, creates the whole world of dream without even involvement of the gross body. And therefore, gross body is merely an instrument. But the doer is a conscious being, the Chetana Satta. Ataha Shariram Karanam Karye Kartuhu Chidatmanaha. Therefore, for this conscious being, the body is an instrument by which he creates the things in this world. But this is the story about the Jiva, the soul, you and me. This is not the story of the Absolute. Therefore, Jivanam Karanapeksha Yataha Apurna Swatantrata. Because the Jivas are Apurna, they don't have total freedom. See? And therefore, Karana Apeksha, they have to depend on the things. You know, in Bhagavad Mahapuran, one story comes where it is said that one day Brahmaji got annoyed. Why? Because the rules and regulations of behavior in this world were bypassed by Bhagavan Krishna. You have to drive from the left side, and if you have gone from the right side, you are destined to get a ticket. There Bhagavan Krishna was living in such a manner that there was no question of somebody touching with the right hand, somebody touching with the left hand, and eating without offering it to the God. Oh God, thank you very much for the food that you are giving us. Tomorrow please don't give the same food, make it something different. See? No. He just started eating from the hands of somebody, and there is no question of jhuta and all that. Brahmaji got wild. What this fellow is thinking of himself? So, he has taken away everything. All the cowherd children and animals, everything was taken away. And then Bhagavan Sri Krishna became everything. The animals he became, the children he became, their clothes he became, their sticks he became, their behavior he became, their habits he became. And for 1 full year, nobody knew that these are not the original ones. Nobody knew. See? And then Brahmaji was confused. How come this fellow, when I have hidden everything, but nothing has happened? So, Brahmaji could create beings, but he cannot create the 5 great elements. A pot maker can create a pot, he cannot create the clay. See, for the Jiva, the material cause has to be provided. He cannot create. Therefore, here Jivanam Karanapeksha Yataha Apurna Swatantrata, because their freedom is limited. They don't have freedom beyond operating within the laws of nature. They cannot go beyond that. Bhagavanastu Jagat Karta Purna Swatantra Yogataha Anapekshaiva Yatkinchi Srujati Avikalam Jagat. But the Bhagavan, the Lord, the Creator, the Ishvara, the Maheshwara, whatever name we give, he is the one, Jagat Karta, and he is Purna, being infinite, nothing is lacking in him. Therefore, Anapeksha Yatkinchit, his creation is not dependent on anything else other than him. See? Srujati Avikalam Jagat. Ataha, now what is Ishvara, the Creator, the God? Now that is the topic she is talking. Ataha Shariram Nasteva Hesha Mukhya Vinishchayaha Anyatha Loka Vat Kartuhu Upadanashrayo Bhave. Therefore, the Ishvara, what we are talking about, is without name and without form. He is Nirgun Nirakar. He is attributeless, formless reality. See? Otherwise, he will become like the worldly people, the Creator, who is dependent on some external factors. Anyatha lokavat, like the worldly people, kartuhu upadanashrayo bhavet. He will be dependent on the Maya, the Prakriti, and then only he will be able to create this world. Tathacha desha kaladi karana prachaya yutaha jagat srujan maheshano jiva eva bhavet tatha. And therefore, if Ishvara is creating this world depending on the time, space and object, then he is none other than the Jiva. Because the Jiva is the one who is under the influence of Desha, Kala, Vastu, three things. See, if there is no Desha, Kala, Vastu, time, space and object, there cannot be any creation. So, this is what will happen. And Purnaishwarya Vihanyeta Jagat Srustehe Purapicha Siddhe Tat Sarva Kartrutvam Vihatam Syanna Samshayaha. And then we will have to say that before the world was created, there was Prakriti. Before the world was created, there was matter. Before the world was created, there was time. Before the world was created, there was space. This is what will happen. See? And then the Lord will not be the complete absolute reality. And this cannot be accepted. See? Like, we come across, he thought and he created the trees, all the trees were created. He thought and he created the animals, animals were created. He thought like that and ultimately he thought, let there be sun, and the sun was created. So, he started creating this world now not out of any upadan karan, not out of any material cause. So, he is not the creator of this world in this manner. Ataha, therefore, he drishya dehadi anapeksha jagat srujet. Therefore, what is the conclusion? Ishvara or Bhagwan is the one who created this world without any reference to anything else other than his own being. See? Nasti tasma sthula deho vastutaha pranavallabha. Therefore, my dear husband, Hemalaka is telling to her husband, therefore, he pranavallabha, this Lord that I am talking about, na sthula deha vastutaha asti. He does not have the gross body. See, friends. But we are all caught up only in the forms. Therefore, the Shiva devotee says Vishnu is inferior, and in Vishnu says the Shiva is inferior, and Ganapati, and then the Devi, and then so many varieties. See? And then, not only that, then we are obsessed with our own thinking. In Bombay, there was one function where I was also called. And there were about 5 of us on the stage and everybody has to talk 20 minutes. And selected and invited audience. It was not open to public. And very, very prestigious people from the society, they were called. So we were all sitting and then one person was Vivekananda. He was from USA and must have been associated with some yoga institution, and he was probably initiated by some Swamiji from India. He was, American, a white American. And then he started talking on this topic about creation, God and all that. Actually, God is one. People are unnecessarily fighting in this world. If they can understand God is one, there will be no problem. All the problems of the world will be solved. And then he concluded. So thereafter it was my turn. Then I said, I do not know anything. People are talking very big things about the world. I don't know. I can tell you some stories because the whole atmosphere is becoming very serious. And then I told. I attended one marriage. And when that couple got married, I told them, Swamiji, give us some piece of advice. I said, look here. After marriage, husband and wife is one. And if there is one, there is no fight. Okay? Yes, Swamiji. And then after 15 years, again I happened to meet them. And they came with a complaint that Swamiji, we are constantly fighting. What should we do? I said, I told you, You are one. Swami, that is the problem. Which one? In the same manner, God is one. But which one? Whether a Hindu God or a Muslim God or a Christian God or which God? Which one? See, friends, this is the whole trouble. And therefore we get lost. So, first of all, this has to be accepted. Now, the second step that will come is pararupe hi dehesmin muyhanti sthula buddhaya bhakti yuktascha tairdhataha yatra yatra yatha yatha. Those who are sthula buddhi means what? As long as we are identified with the gross body and waking world is real for us, for them, the Lord without the name and without the form cannot be even comprehended. They cannot. Because the mind cannot function without name and form. Mind is nothing but obsession of name and form. See, friends. And when the mind is functioning through the senses, it has to have an objective perception. So first, mind cannot function without name and form. Second thing, name and form, when they are given predominance, they are an objective understanding. See, one day, one person reached Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi and he said, "Sir, I understand God is without name and without form, but what about this world? What about the Shiva, Krishna, etc.? What they are? Are they illusions?" So, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi asked, God is without name and form, I agreed. Jiva that you think you are, is the Jiva with name and form? Jiva also doesn't have name and form. Electricity is without any name and form. Nobody has ever seen. The light, which is an expression of electricity, is that light having name and form? Light doesn't have any form. It takes every form. So, when the Jiva who is without name and form can take this terrible form that you are, that Paramatma who is without name and form, can't he take every form? See the thinking. And therefore here it is said, Bhakti yuktascha tair dhata yatra yatra yatha yatha. So those who are the devotees of that attributeless, formless reality, for their benefit, the same Lord takes all the forms. See, ye yatha mam prapadyante tastataiva bhajamyaham. So those who are devoted to me as the creator, I remain as the creator for them. Those who consider me as the mother, I am a mother for them. Those who consider as a father, I am father for them. He has no problem. Therefore, tatha dhatte aneka rupam bhakta chintamani swayam ataha chetanaha etena taddehasya chiti para. Therefore, there bhakta chintamani, the one who is the fulfiller of all the desires of his devotee, that Paramatma is Chetana, is the consciousness, and this consciousness is his body. And this is how this Parachitihi, the pure absolute Chetana Satta reality, is the real Paramatma, and Chitireva Mahasatta Samrajni Parameshwari Tripura Bhasate Yasyam Avibhinna Vibhinnavat. And therefore this one reality, the Chetana Satta, the Tripura Devi, she is alone appearing in many forms, although she remains undivided and continues to be one. See, Vibhinna, divided into many, although Abhinna, although she is never divided. No example is given. Now this example is extremely difficult to understand, but the only way we can understand the truth. How it is? Adarsha nagaram prakhyam jagat etacharacharam tadrupaikattvastatra nottama adhama bhavana. You know, in Dakshinamurti Stotra, the first verse, if the first verse we can understand deeply, Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam Pashyannatmani mayaya bahirivot bhutam yatha nidraya Yat sakshat kurute prabodha samaye svatmanamevadvayam Tasmai Sri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam. Whatever we see the things reflected in the mirror, how do we understand the reflection? See? The average man's understanding is reflection is the lateral inversion of what is reflected. Suppose I am eating with the right hand, in the reflection it will be seen that eating with the left hand. If I am turning my head to the right side, in the reflection it appears it is turning to the left side. And therefore it is an illusion. It is not real. Here this is not the meaning. If this meaning what is said here is comprehended, it is all inclusive. Anvayam vyatirekabhyam. Vyatireka is existence without the reference to the conditioning. And Anvaya is the presence in and through all the conditionings and yet remaining unconditioned. See, friends. So what is said here? That when we stand before the mirror or there are so many things reflected in the mirror, so what is to be understood is this. It is the same surface of the mirror which has become the space, which has become the air, which has become the fire, which has become the water, which has become the earth, which has become the human beings, the animals, the movement, the stagnancy, the fire, everything, the same, the same surface of the mirror has become everything. And yet, the mirror is not influenced by anything. When the burning fire is reflected in the mirror, the reflection of the fire does not burn the mirror. When the waters are reflected in the mirror, the reflected water cannot wet the mirror. And yet, the mirror alone has become everything. See, friends, but one reality alone has become the whole world. And yet, nothing of them can ever touch this reality. See the understanding? With this understanding, when we start reflection, all the colors and forms are supported by eyes. Like the reflection is supported by the mirror. If there is no mirror, no reflection. If there are no eyes, no colors and forms. So all colors and forms are supported by the eyes. But eyes are not influenced by any color and form. If there is only one object to be seen, it is easier. If there are 100 objects to be seen, no, eyes get tired. No. Let there be one object, let there be two objects, let there be million objects. Eyes do not get influenced by the number of objects illumined at a time. And if there are no objects to illumine, there is no loss to the eyes. Eyes continue to exist. See. Similarly, the sounds. Sounds exist only in the hearing ability. whatever may be the sounds, good or bad, all are supported by the same hearing ability, and this hearing ability remains untouched by the quality of the sound. Go further. The mind supports all the five sense organs. If one sense organ is broken, if the eyes are dead, they become blind. Nothing happens to the mind. If the hearing ability is destroyed because the ears have gone, nothing happens to the mind. But the mind is illuminating all the functioning of all the sense organs and organs of action. Further, let there be good thoughts and bad thoughts. All thoughts are supported by the same mind, and mind remains untouched by any one of them. Now the last step, in the same manner. Consciousness supports Jagra, Swapna, Sushuptishu, the waking, dream and deep sleep, Mr. Waker, Mr. Dreamer, Mr. Deep Sleeper. All of them are supported by the same consciousness. When waking comes, there is no addition to the consciousness. When dream comes, there is no addition to the consciousness. When deep sleep comes, there is no loss to the consciousness. This Chaitanya Satta supports everything and yet beyond everything. Like the mirror supports everything and yet is beyond everything. This is the ultimate understanding about the reality. See, friends, when we come to this point, there is nothing that is required to be spoken of. And therefore, Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam, the truth is revealed through the eloquence of silence. Sounds are heard by the ears. Silence is heard by what? We hear silence. Sounds cannot hear, ears cannot hear the silence. Eyes can see the colors and forms. We also experience darkness. So what is that which is illuminating darkness? Tamasaha parastat. Light and darkness, they are mutually exclusive. If light is there, there cannot be darkness. If darkness is there, cannot be light. But there is one principle which is supporting both the light and its absence, and yet beyond presence and absence. Na tat sat, na tat asat uchyate. This is referred as Tripura Devi, the Tripura, because supporting all the three periods of experience. Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti. See, friends. Therefore, Adarsha Nagara Prakyam Jagat Etat Characharam. And in that mirror, whether it is the wise man who is reflected or a donkey who is reflected, it makes no difference to the mirror. See, in this manner, it is said, Tadrupaikatva tatra na uttama adhama bhavana. Therefore, from the mirror's point of view, it is not that the reflection of the wise man is holy and the reflection of a donkey is unholy. No. There is no uttama adhama bhavana. There is nothing superior or inferior. See, friends. But because we are too much obsessed with the names and the forms, all the jagada begins. So if you are reading the Vishnu Puran, then in Vishnu Puran, Vishnu is glorified, Shiva and Brahma secondary. If you read the Shiva Puran, Vishnu and Brahma is secondary. In Shiva Puran, when Lord Shiva appeared in the form of the, Chetana Stambha, in the form of a pillar of consciousness, then Brahmaji and Vishnu thought, who is this fellow? Let us go and find out. So one fellow went down and one went up, and they could not find the end, and therefore they came back. We don't know who is this thing. Of course, he is Shiva. Nobody can know him. So in Shiva Puran, Shiva is great. In Vishnu Puran, Vishnu is great. Brahma Puran, Brahma is great. And this is how all the differences are supported, but that which is supporting the differences, that is forgotten. Now observe next time you look into the mirror. What we are looking at. If you are looking at your face, you will not see the mirror. And if you are seeing at the mirror, you will not see your face. In the same manner, when we are focusing attention on this conscious being, the multiplicity will disappear. See, when I look at my own son, although I am seeing him separately other than me, yet I see myself reflected in my child. And therefore, the father relives his own childhood through the child. See, friends, therefore, this complete understanding, tadrupa ekatvat tatra na uttama adhama bhavana. There is nothing like something is superior, your God is lower and ours is higher. No, nothing of that sort. Aparetu swarupehi kalpitam mukhyadadihi tasmat prajneha upasita param rupam hi nishkalam. All the differences are in the apara rupa, in the manifest. And the differences in the manifest also born out of stupidity, no wisdom. See, friends, just take an example. One lamp is fixed there which is illuminating all the gods. And other lamp is illuminating the toilet. Will we say, this lamp which is illuminating the God must be punya karmavan? In the last life it must have done lot of meritorious works. As a result of this, in this life it is illuminating God. Dhanya hai, dhanya hai. And that lamp in the toilet, Mahapapi, terrible sinful one, illuminating the dirty toilet. One day this lamp becomes fused. That lamp continues. Why, Papa, this happens? Beta, the good people are liked by the God. So this bulb became fused. And that bad people are not liked by the God. Therefore, still illuminated the same toilet. But now what will we do? How can we do that? Never mind. Bring that bulb. There we can go with a candle. Here we require light. So bring that bulb from there and fix it here. Some punya must have come up. And therefore he is elevated from the toilet to the temple. Aha. See, friends, the light, whether it is illuminating the idol of the God or the toilet, does not get contaminated by the holiness or the unholiness. Is it not? The rule is illuminator is not influenced by what is illumined. See, friends. But normally what happens? We get influence. And when we get influence, we give importance to the differences. And we are not able to see the one undivided support which is supporting all the differences. See, friends. Therefore, aparetu sarupehi, it is in the manifested differences, kalpitam mukhyadadihi. It is only imagined. And how it is imagined? You must have done the puja or seen. There is the panchayatan puja. There are 5 panchayatans. One is Ganesha Panchayatan. In Ganesh Panchayatan, Ganeshji is in the center, remaining four gods are on the four corner. The second is Shiva Panchayatan. There Shiva is in the center, remaining four are in the four corner. Then there is the Vishnu Panchayatam. Vishnu is in the center and remaining four are on the see. The differences are only in the upper, in the manifest and not in the absolute. Tasmat, therefore, Prajnaha, the wise seeker, should upasita, should do the upasana param rupam hinishkalam. Therefore, if we really want to be one with the truth, upasana should be on the absolute reality. Now be very attentive. Does it mean that all the upasana that is being is useless? See? In Kenopanishad it comes. Yash chakshushana pashyati yena chakshugamshi pashyati tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate yan manasana manute yena ahurmano matam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. That which can be that which makes the mind think, but that which cannot be thought of by the mind, that is the Brahman. Know that to be the Brahman and know that Brahman to be you, and other than you there is nothing like Brahman. You are the reality. And not this Ghanta Bhajana that you are doing, that is not the reality. When this is said, the untrained upasakas get totally shattered. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Forgive them, he doesn't know what he's talking. See, friends, where is our attention? On the essential or the non-essential? Sweetness is the essential nature of sugar. Whether it is in cubes, whether it is in small crystals, whether it is in big crystals, whether it is in a syrup form, whether it is brown or it is white, these are non-essential attributes of the sugar. In the same manner, what are the essential and non-essential? So the essential is this one undivided reality is the essential. Therefore, tasmat prajnaha upasita param rupam hinishkalam. Now, how the upasana of the attributeless, formless reality can be done? Now, be very attentive. This thought also comes in Panchadashi in the 8th or 9th chapter. See, there are two types of seekers. One type of seeker is called as the krutopasti. And second type of seeker is called as the akrutopasti. Krutopasti means the one who has done upasana right from childhood. And thereby he has trained his mind to think in terms of something higher. And thereby he has trained his mind to develop an atmosphere of respect and reverence. When these two things happen, when the mind is trained to have respect and reverence and think of something higher, such a mind is easier to control. See, you must have seen in the schools, when the teacher is not there, the children are constantly talking, clock, 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 like a poultry farm. And one of the students say, "Hey, the teacher has come." Everybody is quiet. Why? Because the respect and reverence for the teacher. In the same manner, when we are doing anything and we come before the Lord, the moment we come before the Lord, because we have got respect and reverence, immediately the mind becomes well controlled. So respect and reverence is an essential quality of the mind which will help us in controlling the mind. See, therefore, these people are called krutopasti. And such people, they are able to understand the secrets of the Vedanta instantaneously without any difficulty. And second type of people are like us who are akrutopasti. Akrutopasti, they have not done any upasana throughout their life. I don't believe in God. If God is there, have you seen God? One young boy asked me this question. Hamidi, have you seen God? I said, why should I tell you? No. The same question was asked by Vivekananda to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Must have read somewhere. I said, you may be Vivekananda, I am not Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. We ask the question, have you seen God? What do we understand by the word God? See? Therefore, the upasana helps us, first of all, to install Shraddha, the faith. And then the tarka, the logic, helps us in controlling or rather in converting what is accepted by the blind faith into right conviction. And the right conviction alone will ultimately lead us to the absolute experience. These are the three stages through which every seeker has to go. Therefore, those who are not krutopasti like us, for them, what is the sadhana? For them, the sadhana is discovering what is meant as the subjective experience. Now see, when it is said, Tasmat prajna upasita param rupam hi nishkalam. Therefore, the wise seeker should do the upasana of that which is formless and which is attributeless. So now see what will happen. When we sit, and now we have to do upasana, we have to think about that which is formless. What is the first thing that will come? The gross space. And when the mind becomes formless like the space, the gross world disappears. How it disappears? The objects of the gross world no more influence us. Like the gross space is not influenced by any of the gross objects. So when our mind is trained to do the upasana of the formless and attributeless, it begins from the gross space. So when we sit and do the upasana of these nishkala, without form and without attribute, what is the immediate thing that is available to us is the total gross space. Now what is the upasana? Be very attentive. What is the upasana of the Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva's upasana is Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Ekam Bilva Patram Shivarpanam. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. See, this is the Shiva upasana. Now that which is formless, like the space, what is the kind of upasana we do? See? So there the upasana is when we take our mind into the space, the mind becomes formless, and if the mind becomes formless, what it will experience like? We may only say that I accept that I am the space. But then you say, but there is a pain in the back. No, what about it? Space does not have pain. Oh. Then what is the upasana? Be very attentive. Upasana is, now don't simply stop chitta vritti nirodha like a dumb, but now start working. If the mind has merged in the space, then what will be the experience like? Now start playing meditation, working on it. Space is one, forms are many. So there is no truth separate for each one of us. One reality. Second thing, Every form begins and ends. The space being formless has no beginning and no end. So the body has the birth, modification and end. Being space, no birth, no modification, no end. The body has the diseases and health. Space does not have any disease or any health. See? The body has the gender, man, woman, etc. The space doesn't have any gender. Now this experience, which is being formless, without any difference on account of the gender, shape, place, color, creed, age, all of them disappear. See? And when this is practiced consciously 24/7, none of the worldly things can ever attract our mind. We can never have anything to do in this world. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman sarvan tyaktva asheshataha. No sankalpa to do anything in this world. See, friends. And when there is no sankalpa, there is no doer. When there is no doer, there is no karma phala. When there is no karma phala, the world disappears. Then how do we live in this world? Like a drama. Yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihinaha yasya brahmani ramati chittam nandati 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 eva. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Such a person is at peace 24/7. Living in peace 24/7 is what is called as the spiritual practice. It is not a silent suffering on the seat of meditation to control the mind. I don't know what is happening today. Yesterday's meditation was good, Today's is bad. Is it a upma? Yesterday it was good, today it is not. I think it is burnt away. See, friends. Therefore, tasmat prajna upasita param rupam hi nishkalam. Now be attentive. When we practice taking the position of a space in the gross world, this is the objects of experience. Then we graduate. We cannot continue to be in KG1 throughout life. Please understand this. No, I like, to be in KG1 all the time. Why? I like that miss. Now she has also become old. You are also old. Now enough. Graduate. Go for higher classes. See? So when the gross world is no more of any value and doesn't have any influence on our own being, then the second step comes. What is that? Now, no experience will ever touch our mind. See, every experience has got three components. Object of experience, second is the experience of the object, and third is the experiencer. Is it not? We have to graduate these three areas. First, object of experience. Object of experience is this gross world. So when we take the position of the gross space, objects of experience cannot touch us. And this is what Bhagavad Gita says, Sukha dukkhe same krutva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam avapsasi. Where it is said that the victory and the defeat, loss and the gain, joy and the sorrows are of no value to us. They are taken equally with the same ease, meaning what? We do not recognize either the joy or the sorrows. See? So we have come now to the second stage, and that is the mental space, the Chittakash. So we start living now in the Chittakash as Chittakash. What is the Chittakash? None of the experiences will ever disturb us. First, none of the objective things disturbed us. Second, none of the experience will ever disturb us. Then we come to the third and the last thing. And what is that? None of the experiencers will ever disturb us. Whether the experiencer is a waker or a dreamer or a deep sleeper. Meaning, whether it is a waking, dreaming or deep sleep state. Like the clouds come in the space and disappear. Some clouds shower, some clouds make only noise, and sometimes there are no clouds. So those clouds which shower are like the waking experience. Those clouds which thunder but no shower is like the dream experience. And when there are no clouds is like the deep sleep experience. तस्मात् प्राज्ञः उपासीत परम रूपम हि निष्कलम. There cannot be any effort. Effortless being. The moment efforts are involved, abnormality begins. When there is effort involved in hearing, abnormality. Ears are not normal. See, effortlessness and therefore spontaneity and therefore extreme alertness without effort is the insignia of spiritual evolution. No efforts are required in life. Wherever there are efforts, we are going contrary to the life. In devotion it is said, forgetting Bhagavan Vishnu is the sin. And a sin makes us miserable. Because what is the forgetfulness of Bhagavan Vishnu? Who is Bhagavan Vishnu? Ananda Swarup. So forgetting the bliss means what? Becoming miserable. See? Therefore, tasmat prajnyaha upasita param rupam hi nishkalam asamarthaha sthula rupam yad buddhau sangatam drudham tadupasya hetu tastu shreyaha prapnoti anuttamam. But those who are asamarthaha, those who are not able to remain without any support. See? Like in the childhood, when the child starts walking, he has to take support. So there is, those three wheel things. The child stands and holds and starts walking. I can walk. But the moment it is taken, he falls down. So that is not useless, it is useful. But is he going to carry it the whole life? No, it has helped me during the childhood. How can I reject it? And you must have seen, when somebody gets this paralytic stroke, etc., or in the old age, they cannot walk. And then the doctors do something and all that, and then they give the cage to lift and walk, lift and walk. When they come out of the hospital and start walking with that support, they feel the same joy as a child feels the joy when he started first walking. Swamiji, now I can walk. Of course, I had to take the help, but now I can independently walk with the help. He doesn't know what he's talking. But what a joy it is. So the happiness is the same. Therefore, here also, those who are asamartha, those who are unable to be contemplative and subjective in their understanding about the truth, for them, sthula rupam, yad buddhau sangatam drudham, that particular form which has been associated in our life very firmly. So if you are a devotee of Krishna, hold on to Krishna, nothing wrong. If you are a devotee of Shiva, hold on to Shiva, nothing wrong. Thank God, before completing the lecture, you told us this thing. Our whole day would have been miserable, See, friends. Asamartha sthula rupam yad buddhau sangatam drudham tadupasa hetu tascha shreyaha prapnoti anuttamam. Even when we do the upasana of this reality with the form and with the attributes, doesn't matter. At least you start. See, friends. And then what happens? Nanyathasya gati kwapi bhavedvai koti janmavihi. Other than these two kinds of upasana, first was the upasana, what we told was nirgun nirakar. And if we are not able to do that, never mind. Then take some support. Rather than remaining, I can't do anything, take some support and start. So we start the upasana with the saguna sakar, never mind. And by this also we can attain the same reality. And other than this upasana, there is no other gati, there is no other way. With this, the 7th chapter gets completed and we enter the 8th chapter. Now it is 7:15. Are you to go or we can continue for another 10 minutes? Continue for 10 minutes. Gadpati Bappa, we can continue. Because you are looking at others, what they say or what they say. Evam priyavacha shrutva jnatva tattvam maheshituhu Tripuram chinmayam hemalekha vakkena nishchitam Ashvatasta chittas tripuram gunarupam maheshwarim jnatva gurubhya paramam maheshwari vibhavitaha तामेवा अनुभवानुगतः हे मचूडो अभवद्रुडम एवं परोपासनेन व्यतीयुः केपि माकसकाः. In this manner, when this Hemachud heard the most lovely enchanting discourse from his wife, he became very clear that the creator of this world is none other than this Tripura, the one who is controlling all the 3 periods of experience, and as a result, his mind became absolutely at peace. Upasana, if it leads to peace, then it is Upasana. If the Upasana makes us more disturbed, then it is not Upasana. Then he went to his gurus and all that, and he got the instruction how to do the upasana, which is the flower to be put, how the chandan has to be applied, which is the finger to be used. Many people, when they use the finger, they use this finger for putting it on. This finger is not used, cut it away. You have to use only this finger. What is wrong in this finger? In upasana, there are no questions. Do what is told. This finger should not be used. What is the reason? This is apavitra, this is impure, because this is the ego, this is tarjani. When we scold somebody, How do we scold? What do you say? Okay. Go and come. We scold somebody with this, I tell you. So that which creates differences and division is impure. Therefore, this finger is never used in puja. It is apavitra. That is the reason when you do the japa and you are chanting the Lord's name, that time also this finger should not touch the mala. So you must have seen Vaishnavas, they have got this one bag, it's called a Gomukhi. There is a hole in that. From the hole this finger comes out. And then inside there are other fingers. And then they go on. And then when you are doing, your mala should not be seen by anybody. If you don't have a bag, then cover it with your thing. And it should not touch your body, it should not touch the floor. There should be another cloth on which the mala should land. Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. While doing the japa, you should not look here and there. Then where should I look? Only at the Lord. But eyes closed. When there also you see Rama only. See? So, he started doing the upasana of the Saguna Sakar as per the guidance given by the Purohit or the teachers. And then he became so much single pointed in his upasana. Remember one thumb rule. Karmani chitta shuddhyartham aikagrayartham upasanam mokshartham brahma vijnanam iti vedanta dindimaha. Karma is done for the purification of the mind, not for achieving anything. And upasana is done chitta aikagrayartham, for training the mind to be available to the same cause for a length of time that we decide. Our mind is not available. Upasana trains us that the mind is available whenever we want, for whatever purpose we want. Such a pure and trained mind alone can think about the Lord. Otherwise, we go and look at the Lord. Oh, is it made out of gold or it is made of or it is China made or what must be the weight, How they must have brought it here, Do they allow? Was it packed in the luggage and then Bhagwan was thrown? Or they don't allow metal in. You are looking at Bhagwan, other than Bhagwan, everything is going on. See, friends, our mind is terrible. So we are looking at the Lord and thinking about the world. Like, one old person asked me this question. Swamiji, when I see Krishna's, serial, I am reminded of my grandson. What should happen? When you see your Dumbo grandson, you should be reminded of Bhagwan Krishna. But when he sees Krishna, he is reminded of the world. Because there is no single pointedness in the mind. Mind is constantly running in the worldly things. Therefore, he became extremely subjective, and then he was able to practice meditation and remain in tune with the divine for a longer period of time. In this manner, tam ekam anubhavanugatah hemachūdaha abhavat drudam evam para upasanena vyatiyuhu kepi masakaha. And thus he was lost in that upasana for few months. And then thereafter, now see what is most important. With this I will conclude, and this we will see tomorrow. Tripura parameshani prasadam akarod dhrutihi vishayabhimukham chittam vichara paramam babho. Then the grace of the Tripura Devi started manifesting in the heart of this Hemachud. And what is the grace? This is what is called as God's grace. What is that God's grace? Vishaya vibhukam chittam vichara paramam babho. Earlier the mind was extrovert and running in the world. Now the mind has become introvert and started contemplating on the reality. See friends, God's grace is this. We are no more getting disturbed or involved with anything in the world. And we are not sleeping also. We are remaining introvert and contemplative. What is the contemplativeness? Contemplativeness is when we are able to receive instructions from every experience of our life. Every experience of our life is an instruction given to the seeker by the divine providence. Every experience. If we can catch that the instruction given through every experience, then we are really contemplative. Normally, every experience creates an impression on our mind, good or bad. That is being samsari. But when every experience is acting as an instruction from the divine, then we have become contemplative. In Bhagavad Mahapuran it comes when Bhagavan Dattatreya was asked by this King Yadu. He was in his own simple form, nobody could recognize his Bhagavan Dattatreya. So King Yadu asked him, how come you have no kingdom, no wife, no property, no army, and how come you are so happy? He said, therefore I am happy. How simple. And then, where from you learned this thing? He said, I have learned it from my guru. Who is your guru? He said, I don't have one guru. I got 24. Why daridre having one guru only? Mushkil se mar gaya to mar gaya. 24 gurus. And then read that Akhyan in Bhagavad Mahapuran. And his gurus are not persons. He tells one by one, I learned from the space, asangata. Space supports everything, but is not attached to anything. See? Fire supports every form, but doesn't have any form. In this manner, when we are able to learn from every experience of our life, then we have become really contemplative in life. Otherwise, we are not contemplating. Otherwise, we are argumentative. So, what is the grace of the God? Grace of the God is we are now not Vishayabhimukha, but Vicharonmukha. We have now become contemplative. And this contemplativeness has happened to Hemachud, and let us see what happens to us tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.